everybody, it's Carla at Posture Studio, and I'm going to teach you a couple of things about walking, things to consider when you're walking, and some little exercises that you can do to improve your walking. All right, so initially all you need to do is stand up, obviously. So stand up and march in place for a second. Just kind of let your body go into what it goes into when you go upright. And then once you're there, just want you to pause for a second and think about, feel what you're doing in your body. And then if you were going to stand up straight, go ahead and do that, whatever that is for you. If you wanted to stand up straighter, and then let go of that and come back to what your typical position would be. Yep, and do that again. So go into what you think would be good standing posture, and then come back out of that. And just kind of feel the changes that you make in your body. A lot of times when people think about standing up straight, they think that their shoulders should go way back in space and their breastbone should lift. So they think that this is standing up straight a lot of times. But you can see that when I did that, it pushed my neck more forward. And now my shoulders are kind of over top of the back of me. Your shoulders actually should be in line with the center of your body. So if what you wanted to do was to go into this, come out of it, go back to where you were, okay? The other thing, a lot of times people will take their pelvis and really push it under them. And so when they stand up, they try to lift their breastbone more, but they don't fix what happened here. So if you're tucking your tailbone under you, see if you can come out of that a little bit. We have a little joke in the studio that the behind is called the behind because it goes behind you. It's not supposed to be under you. I'll go more into pelvic tilting and pelvic tucks and when to do them and when not to do them in another video. But anyway, for now, just see if you can get your hips in line with the center of your knees, ankles, rib cage, shoulders, ears, all lined up. If you can't, that's fine. We're gonna do something here. So all I want you to do is send your hips back in space as you keep the upper body relatively level and hinge at your hips. It's called a hip hinge. We do this all the time, and you've seen me talk about this because I talk about it a lot. We do this when we pick up things, when we get out of chairs. Yep, it's a very functional movement that we do in our lives. What I want you to use it for right now is seeing if it can help free up your hips and help stack your body back up in this line at the top. So all I want you to do is just play around with hip hinging, pulling your hips back in space, keep the torso still. And at the top, see if you can stop when your shoulders end up over your hips. And you might want to use a mirror next to you so you can see. And in gym classes, a lot of times I'll see people teach this, maybe with a weight on them, and I see this kind of push up the hips forward. And they're doing that because they're trying to activate their butt muscles more. But for standing, you don't want that, right? So I want you just to think of coming up to the point at which your hips are under your shoulders. All right, let's do that one more time. Just coming through this motion. All right, so from there, we're gonna play around with a plank. All right, you might have seen my other videos about if you have this kind of posture, you might want to play around with doing a plank when standing to see if it helps you. We can go over that later or another time. But for now, we're gonna pretend like we're already here, okay? So I'm here, and I'm gonna pretend like I'm doing a plank, taking my whole body forward, hinging just at my ankles. I'm gonna come back. So you see I'm leaning forward at my ankles. So it's as if I'm getting into a plank position. I'm gonna come back again, and again, lean forward at the ankles. So if your ankles are tight, this is gonna be hard. You can stretch out your ankles. There's all kinds of ways to do that. Again, we'll be posting more information on that. But see if you can hinge your body forward, keeping in a straight line through your whole body, just moving at the ankle. The reason why I'm doing this is because if we're walking, moving forward through space, the act of walking is a controlled fall. So I know a lot of people are always like, what do you mean? But when you see little kids start walking, they stand up and they start walking, and you'll see they kind of do this lean forward and then they start trying to walk. They're trying to figure out how to move forward through space and not fall down, right? And the way we start moving forward through space, we have to take our body from here forward. And so the very act of hinging, moving at that ankle joint is a big deal for walking, being able to mobilize at your ankle joint. All right, we'll just do that one more time. I know it's a little hard. You might find that you're going like this, but try to keep your body like you're in a straight line from your ankles to your head, right? All right. If you couldn't do that, don't worry. We'll work on that more another time. But now what we're gonna do is actually go through ranges of motion in the ankle. We're gonna start actually by going backwards, okay? So what I want you to do is you'll take your right foot, I want you to lift that foot up, go back onto the ball of your foot, and I want you to roll through your foot until you go onto your heel. And then do the opposite. So lift your heel up and go back to here again. I'm gonna do that again. So I'm gonna lift my foot up, I'm gonna roll back through that heel. And notice it makes me bend this knee. Gonna return. And again. So I'm here, going to here, here to here. So I'm mobilizing my foot, my ankle, and my foot. And when I do that, it makes the rest of me go through space. So I'm transferring my weight from here to here, right? From here to here. Seems super simple, but maybe something you haven't considered before is the act of transferring your body weight through space when you walk. Your upper body pretty much stays the same. Your legs are taking you forward. There's motion at your hips, your knees, and your ankles that take you forward through space. So I'm transferring from back to front, from front to back. I'm gonna do the other side. So just rolling through that foot and rolling forward again. And I find that going backwards helps our brains process a little bit differently. So it breaks the pattern up. If I had you start by just going forward, you'd probably just go into your typical old walking stance, whatever that is. You would just kind of do whatever you do when you walk. There's a gazillion types of walking that we can mimic. But if you go backwards, it really helps change what your mind thinks it's doing. And so it helps with the mechanics a little bit. So I'm going backwards and forward. And I know this seems super boring, but it's very helpful. It can become very meditative, which is great for your mind and heart, obviously. But just going back and forth here. Now I'm going to take this through space. So I'm going to go forward, right? So I'm rolling through that foot, landing my heel, going this way. Let's try another one. This way. Now I'm going to go backwards again. So I'm going to go backwards. Ball of my foot, rolling through the foot to my heel. Ball of my foot, rolling through my foot to my heel. Ball of my foot, rolling through my foot to my heel. Now I'm going to do the opposite. Heel, ball of my foot, toe. Heel, ball of my foot, toe. Heel, ball of my foot, toe. Okay? So you're actually rolling through that foot when you go forward. We'll walk backwards again. Go forward again and notice that I get into that slight forward lean because I'm transferring my weight from here to here as I walk, right? So I need to have that forward lean at this ankle, right, to go forward. The other thing that's happening is this leg is pushing me forward through space, right? A lot of times I'll see people walk, and they'll pull themselves forward with their front leg, but really you're pushing yourself forward. I'm pushing off of that back leg here. Now, if you've ever done Pilates, you've seen the exercise where you're lying on the ground and you pull a leg back behind you, and that exercise is really good for this motion. It's using the sensors of the leg to pull the leg behind you, and that's applicable to walking. So from here to here, here to here, here to here, right? The other thing that I really want you to consider is how you're transferring your weight through space. Your body, you're breaking something here, right? You're breaking some kind of, you can even see it with my hair. When I go forward, my hair moves, right? Just like when I'm standing, gravity's pushing me against me and I'm pushing back up against it. When I go forward, I'm breaking through this little barrier. When I was growing up, my dad worked construction, and I remember there'd be these big heaters in these construction sites in the wintertime that would blow hot air out of them. They looked like a bullet, like a huge bullet. And if I walked in front of it, it would push me, blow me out of the way. But if I leaned into it, I could be strong enough in my core to maintain my strength to walk toward it. And I can remember practicing that as a kid, just seeing if it would blow me or if I could be strong and walk toward it, like a cartoon character. But the same thing happens when you're walking. Obviously, I don't have a huge gust of air hitting me, but when I walk, there's actually a little bit of I'm pushing myself forward. And the faster you go, the more that is. So if you're a runner, you know that. There's a slight forward lean. So anyway, just play around with that. And I'm gonna do some more videos on walking about moving side to side, how to kick off the back leg, all kinds of little tips and exercises that you can do to help you with that. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Anyway, I hope this helps you, and take care.